The alien ships appeared without warning. Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee aboard the patrol vessel Defiant when the sensors started screaming. He dropped his cup and ran to the command center. The screens showed dozens of massive ships coming out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter. Each ship was enormous, bigger than anything humans had ever built. Jake had trained for this moment his entire career, but seeing it happen made his heart race. The United Earth Defense Force had always wondered if aliens existed. Now they had their answer, and it did not look friendly. "Get everyone to their stations," Jake ordered. His crew moved quickly. They had practiced this drill hundreds of times, but this was not a drill. These were real alien warships, and they were moving toward Earth. Before Jake could send a message to Earth, every screen on his ship changed. An alien face appeared. It had scales like a reptile, cold yellow eyes, and sharp teeth. The creature wore some kind of metal collar that glowed softly. "Humans," the alien said in perfect English. The collar was translating its words. "I am High Commander Zixtar of the Korthax Dominion. We have come to take your planet. You will surrender now or we will destroy you. You have 1 hour to decide." The screen went black. Jake looked at his crew. Some looked scared. Others looked angry. All of them waited for his orders. "Send everything we have to Earth Command," Jake said. "Tell them we have hostile aliens demanding surrender. Then charge all weapons. If they want to fight, we will give them one." On Earth, Admiral Linda Carter received the message in her command center deep underground. She had spent 30 years preparing for this possibility. When humans first developed faster-than-light travel, the military leaders had asked a simple question. What if hostile aliens exist? What if they find us before we find them? So Earth had prepared. They built weapons in secret. They turned the moon into a fortress. They hid military bases on Mars and disguised them as mining stations. They created artificial intelligence systems to control defensive weapons. They did all of this while the rest of humanity focused on exploration and science. Admiral Carter looked at the tactical displays. The alien fleet was massive, but it was moving slowly, confidently. They clearly thought humans would surrender. They had no idea what was waiting for them. She smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Activate all defense systems," she ordered. "Mars, Moon, and Earth. Tell Colonel Ryan Bishop on the Moon to prepare for combat. Tell our ships to get ready, and tell Captain Morrison that help is coming. These aliens picked the wrong planet to invade." The Korthax fleet reached Mars exactly 1 hour after their ultimatum. High Commander Zixtar expected to see frightened humans begging for mercy. Instead, he saw nothing. Mars looked empty and quiet. A few small settlements, some mining equipment, nothing threatening. "The humans are cowards," one of his officers said. "They are hiding." Then Mars exploded with light and fire. What the Korthax thought were mining facilities were actually weapon platforms. Huge railguns hidden underground opened fire. They launched metal slugs at incredible speeds. The slugs hit the alien shields with tremendous force. The shields flickered and failed. Missile silos hidden under the red sand opened up. Thousands of missiles flew toward the alien fleet. Each missile carried a fusion warhead, a miniature sun compressed into a bomb. The missiles were fast and smart, dodging the alien defensive fire. Energy weapons that humans had spent decades developing fired next. Powerful lasers and particle beams sliced through the alien ships. 3 destroyers exploded immediately. Others started venting atmosphere into space. "Impossible!" Zixtar shouted as his ship shook from the impacts. "Our scouts said they were primitive. Where did these weapons come from?" His tactical officer was frantically checking the sensors. "Commander, these weapons are extremely advanced. Their projectiles have massive kinetic energy. Their missiles carry fusion bombs. The humans have been hiding their true capabilities. Return fire," Zixtar ordered. "Destroy those weapon platforms!" The Korthax fleet responded with devastating power. Their plasma cannons turned the Martian surface into molten glass. Their missiles obliterated half of the human defensive positions. But by then, the damage was done. The alien fleet had lost 4 destroyers, 2 frigates, and 1 battlecruiser was badly damaged. They had been bloodied by what they thought was a weak, primitive species, and they had not even reached Earth yet. Jake Morrison watched the battle from his position near Jupiter. He wanted to help, but his small patrol ship would not make any difference against the massive alien fleet. All he could do was watch and transmit data back to Earth Command. His communications officer turned to him. "Captain, we are receiving a message from Admiral Carter. She says to stay back and observe. She says the real fight is about to begin. Jake nodded. He understood. Mars was just the first layer of defense. Earth had much more waiting for these invaders. The Korthax fleet regrouped after destroying the Mars defenses. They had won, but it had cost them. Zixtar looked at the casualty reports with growing concern. He had lost almost 20% of his fleet fighting mining stations. What would happen when they reached Earth itself? But retreat was not an option. The Korthax Dominion had never retreated from a primitive species. Their reputation was built on overwhelming military might. If they withdrew now, it would show weakness. Continue to Earth, Zixtar ordered. But stay alert. These humans are more dangerous than we thought. As the alien fleet moved toward Earth, Admiral Carter prepared the next surprise. Mars had been the warning shot. Now humanity would show these invaders what real defensive power looked like. On the far side of the moon, Colonel Ryan Bishop checked his systems one final time. The lunar weapons array was humanity's most powerful defensive system. It had taken 30 years to build and had cost trillions of dollars. The entire dark side of the moon had been hollowed out and filled with weapons. Particle beam cannons, railguns, missile batteries, and systems so advanced that even Bishop did not fully understand them. The alien scouts had never detected any of it because it was all underground. Humans had learned from their history. The best fortresses were the ones nobody knew existed. "Colonel, we have target lock on the entire alien fleet," his weapons officer reported. Bishop took a deep breath. Once he gave the order, there was no going back. This would be the moment humanity announced itself to the galaxy. Not as explorers or diplomats, but as warriors who would defend their home at any cost. "Wait for my command," Bishop said. "Let them get closer. Let them think they are winning." The Korthax fleet approached Earth's moon, confident they would crush any remaining defenses. They had no idea that they were sailing directly into the most powerful weapons humanity had ever created. The Korthax fleet moved between Mars and Earth, their formation much tighter than before. High Commander Zixtar studied his tactical screens with growing worry. The humans had already destroyed several of his ships. What other surprises were waiting? "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from Earth," his communications officer said. "Play it," Zixtar ordered. A human woman's voice filled the bridge. She spoke calmly, but there was strength in her words. "Hi, Commander Zixtar. I am Admiral Linda Carter of the United Earth Defense Force. You came to our solar system with hostile intent. You attacked our installations on Mars. You threatened to destroy our home world. You have made a terrible mistake." She paused, then continued. "I am giving you one chance to leave. Turn your ships around and go back where you came from. If you continue toward Earth, we will show you why humanity has survived every threat for 200,000 years. This is your only warning." The transmission ended. Zixtar felt his scales flush with anger. No primitive species had ever spoken to the Korthax like this. The Dominion had conquered 73 worlds. They did not retreat from anyone. "All ships continue toward Earth," Zixtar ordered. "Combat formation. We will destroy these arrogant humans and take their planet." Deep underground on Earth, Admiral Carter watched the alien fleet continue its approach. She had hoped they would be smart enough to leave. Part of her actually wanted them to go because she knew what was about to happen. "They are coming, Admiral," Lieutenant Peter Grant reported from his station. "Very well," Carter said quietly. "Activate the lunar arrays, release the drone swarms, and tell Colonel Bishop he is cleared to fire." On the moon's far side, Colonel Ryan Bishop stood in the control center of the most secret military base humanity had ever built. Around him, 300 technicians watched their screens. The base had taken 30 years to construct. Everything was hidden underground where alien scouts could never find it. The lunar weapons array was ready. Particle beam cannons powerful enough to slice through starship armor. Railguns that could fire metal slugs at near light speed. Missile systems with warheads that could vaporize entire ships. All of it powered by massive fusion reactors buried kilometers beneath the lunar surface. "Target lock confirmed on all hostile vessels," Major Kate Sullivan reported. "All weapon systems charged and ready." Bishop nodded. "Fire." The moon lit up as if 100 suns had suddenly appeared on its surface. Particle beams invisible to the human eye but devastating in their power reached across space at light speed. They struck the Korthax fleet with perfect accuracy. Shields flared bright and then collapsed. Hull armor superheated and melted. 3 battlecruisers simply disappeared, turned into expanding clouds of gas and debris by the opening salvo. The surviving Korthak ships scattered in panic, trying to avoid the deadly beams. But the lunar weapons were controlled by advanced artificial intelligence. The targeting computers tracked every ship with inhuman precision. They fired again and again, each shot carefully calculated to hit vital systems. "What is happening?" Zixtar shouted as his ship rocked from a near miss. "Where are these weapons?" "The Moon Commander," his tactical officer screamed. "They built weapons platforms inside their moon. Our scouts never detected them." Zixtar felt cold fear grip his heart. The humans had hollowed out their moon and filled it with weapons. They had hidden it all underground. They had waited patiently for someone to attack them, and now they were destroying his fleet with ease. "Emergency jump. Get us away from those weapons," Zixtar ordered desperately. But Earth had more surprises. As the Korthak ships tried to power up their faster-than-light engines, thousands of small objects suddenly appeared around them. What the aliens had thought were harmless satellites and space stations had just deployed weapons. The objects were autonomous drones, each one about the size of a small car. They had advanced artificial intelligence, powerful engines, and high-explosive warheads. There were thousands of them, and they moved like a swarm of angry insects. The Korthak's defensive systems could not handle so many small, fast targets. The drones slipped through the alien weapons fire. They attached themselves to ship hulls and exploded. The blasts were small compared to missiles, but there were thousands of them, and they knew exactly where to hit. Engine sections took damage. Life support systems failed. Command centers were breached. The drones were everywhere, and nothing could stop them all. Captain Jake Morrison finally received orders to engage. His patrol ship Defiant raced toward the battle at maximum speed. The small vessel dodged between the massive alien ships, firing missiles at close range into already damaged areas. "That is for threatening my home," Jake said as another alien destroyer went dark. Its engines destroyed, all across the battlefield. Human ships that had been hiding suddenly revealed themselves. Frigates, destroyers, and cruisers that had been powered down and drifting like debris came to life. They added their weapons to the devastating assault. The battle had become a massacre. The Korthak's fleet was trapped between the moon's weapons, the drone swarms, and human warships. Their formation had collapsed into chaos. Ships collided with each other trying to escape. Some exploded from internal damage. Others simply drifted, their crews dead or unconscious. Zixtar's flagship shuddered as a drone swarm found a weak point in the shields. The explosion tore through 3 decks. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the ship. The lights flickered and went out, replaced by red emergency lighting. "Commander, the jump drive is damaged," his engineering officer reported. "We need at least an hour to repair it." An hour they did not have. On the moon, the particle beam cannons were already charging for another volley. In minutes, his flagship would be vaporized. Zixtar looked at the tactical display. Of the 47 ships he had brought to this system, only 15 were still capable of fighting. The rest were destroyed or disabled. His proud fleet had been broken by a species that was not even part of the galactic community. He had one choice left. "Open a channel to Earth Command," Zixtar said, his voice heavy with defeat. When Admiral Carter appeared on his screen, Zixtar forced himself to speak the words that would shame him forever. "Admiral Carter, I am High Commander Zixtar. The Korthak's fleet surrenders. Please stop firing. We will power down our weapons and await your instructions." Carter looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "All human forces, cease fire," she ordered. "The aliens have surrendered." Across the battlefield, the weapons fell silent. The moon's particle beams powered down. The drone swarm stopped attacking and moved back to defensive positions. Human ships held their fire but kept their weapons aimed at the surviving alien vessels. The battle was over. Humanity had won its first war against an alien species, but Admiral Carter knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy now knew that Earth existed, and that humans would fight to defend their home. The question was, what would happen next? The Galactic Council Chamber was one of the most beautiful buildings in the known universe. It was made from crystal that seemed to flow like water but was harder than diamond. The chamber floated in space around a neutron star, a place no single species could claim as their own. 247 different alien species had representatives in the chamber. Today all of them were shouting and arguing. High Chancellor Vormesh tried to restore order. His body was made of living crystal that changed colors as he moved. He raised his hands and his voice boomed through the translation systems. Order. This council will come to order. Slowly, the chamber quieted. Vormesh pointed to the holographic displays floating in the center of the room. They showed the same shocking information over and over. A complete report of the Korthax defeat. 3 days ago, the Korthax Dominion tried to conquer a world called Earth. They sent 47 warships, including 5 battlecruisers. This force has conquered dozens of worlds in the past. The Korthax believed it would be an easy victory. He paused to let his words sink in. The humans destroyed or disabled 32 of those ships in less than 6 hours. The rest surrendered. High Commander Zixtar himself is now a prisoner. The chamber exploded with noise again. Representatives from dozens of species shouted questions. Ambassador Kratal of the Vox Collective stood up. He was 3 meters tall with 4 arms and purple skin. How is this possible? The Korthax have the 3rd most powerful military in the galaxy. These humans only recently developed faster-than-light travel. That is what we need to understand, Vormesh replied. We have studied all available information about these humans. What we learned is very concerning. The displays changed to show images of Earth. It looked like a beautiful blue and green planet, peaceful and calm. Then the images changed to show human cities, technology, and weapons. A new voice spoke. Scholar Thillik floated forward in a spherical container. The scholar was a being made of gas with no solid body at all. They were one of the oldest and wisest members of the academic consortium. Humans evolved on what we call a death world, Thillik explained. Earth is classified as a Class 7 hazard world. It has extreme temperature changes, violent storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, dangerous predator animals. Most species would die on such a planet, but humans did not just survive. They became the dominant species. The displays showed images that made several representatives flinch. Massive hurricanes, tornadoes that could destroy entire cities, earthquakes that split the ground, animals with claws and teeth that could kill easily. Yet humans had not only survived, they had hunted these dangerous animals to near extinction. But surviving a harsh planet is not what makes them dangerous, Thillik continued. What makes them dangerous is how they think about war. The displays now showed human history, war after war after war, humans fighting other humans with constantly improving weapons. In just a few thousand years, they went from hitting each other with rocks to building nuclear bombs. They have been at war somewhere on their planet for 96% of their recorded history, Thillik said quietly. They are very, very good at fighting. And when the Korthax invaded, the humans did not panic. They did not beg for mercy. They activated defense systems they had built in secret, just in case someone attacked them. Ambassador Nelvix of the Harmonic Assembly stood. Her species communicated through musical sounds, and her voice was like beautiful singing even through the translators. Are you saying these humans built their entire space program with war in mind? Not just their space program, Thillik replied. Everything. When they discovered fusion power, they also built fusion bombs. When they created artificial intelligence, they programmed it to control weapons. When they built colonies on their moon, they also built hidden weapon platforms. Every technology they develop, they immediately think about how to use it for defense. It is simply how their minds work. The chamber fell completely silent. The implications were frightening. A species from a deadly world that understood war instinctively, and they were paranoid enough to prepare for attacks that had not even happened yet. There is more, Vormesh said. The humans have sent us a message. They wish to address this council. The representatives looked at each other in shock. This had never happened before. A species that was not part of the galactic community wanted to speak directly to the council. Some of the representatives argued against allowing it. Others were curious. A few were frightened. Finally, after much debate, Vormesh made his decision. We will hear what they have to say, Vormesh announced. Activate the communication system. Let us meet these humans. The holographic projector in the center of the chamber came to life. A human woman appeared, life-sized and clear. She wore a military uniform and stood straight and confident. Behind her were 2 other humans, both also in uniform. The woman looked around the chamber, taking in the incredible variety of alien species. Then she began to speak. Her words were immediately translated into all 247 languages. Honored members of the Galactic Council, I am Admiral Linda Carter of the United Earth Defense Force. I speak for all humanity and our homeworld, Earth. 3 days ago, the Korthax Dominion came to our solar system. They demanded we surrender or they would kill us all. We chose to defend ourselves. She paused, looking directly at the assembled representatives. We defeated them. Not through luck. Not by accident. We defeated them because we were prepared, because we built defenses, because we will protect our home no matter what. I am not here to apologize for that. I am here to tell you what happens now. Ambassador Kratal spoke up. You destroyed a Korthax fleet. Do you understand what that means? They will return with more ships. They will not stop until Earth is destroyed. Admiral Carter smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Let me be very clear. The weapons you saw us use were built over 30 years in secret, but they represent only about 20% of our true military power. We have ships you never saw. We have weapons we did not need to use. We have plans we did not need to activate. If the Korthax return, they will discover that what they saw was just the beginning. She gestured to the 2 officers behind her. These officers commanded our outer defenses. Behind them, we have entire fleets that never left Earth orbit. We have underground bases that make our lunar weapons look simple. We have research programs developing weapons that frighten even our own scientists. We showed the Korthax just enough to make them surrender. We did not show them everything we can do. Scholar Thillick leaned forward in their containment sphere. You prepared for an alien invasion before you even knew aliens existed. Why? Admiral Carter's expression softened slightly. Because that is what humans do. We prepare for dangers we cannot see. We have survived ice ages, diseases, natural disasters, and countless wars. When we discovered that intelligent life might exist beyond our world, our first thought was not excitement. It was caution. What if they are hostile? What if they want to take our planet? What if we need to defend ourselves? So we prepared. One of the other human officers stepped forward. On Earth we have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. When we built our moon base, we also built fortifications. When we developed fusion power, we made sure it could power both cities and weapons. When we created artificial intelligence, we programmed it to defend us. Everything we built thinking about survival. High Chancellor Vormesh spoke, his crystal body pulsing with light. You could demand anything from this council. With your power, you could threaten us. Why come here asking for recognition? Because we do not want to be conquerors. Admiral Carter replied firmly. We want to be explorers. We want to be partners. We want to join the galactic community, not conquer it. Yes, we can defend ourselves. Yes, we will fight if we must. But we prefer peace. We have had enough war on Earth to last forever. The council chamber filled with the sound of translation systems working as representatives discussed among themselves. This was unprecedented. A powerful species asking to join peacefully instead of demanding or threatening. The humans waited patiently while the council debated their fate. The 3rd human officer finally spoke. He was younger than Admiral Carter but wore the same serious expression. My name is Captain Jake Morrison. When I saw the Korthax fleet appear in our solar system, my first thought was not about fighting. I thought about my daughter. She is 7 years old. I thought about my parents who live in a small town. I thought about billions of people on Earth who had no idea alien warships were coming to destroy them. I fought because someone had to protect them. Admiral Carter nodded and continued speaking. That is what humanity is. We are survivors. We are defenders. But we are also scientists, artists, teachers, and dreamers. We reached for the stars because we wanted to explore. We built weapons because we feared what might be out there. Now we know the galaxy is full of intelligent life. We want to meet you, learn from you, and share what we know. She stood straighter, her voice growing stronger. I am asking this council to recognize Earth as an independent world. I am asking you to accept humanity as members of the galactic community. I am asking for the chance to prove that we can be more than just warriors. But I am also giving you a warning. Earth is our home. It is not for sale. It is not for conquest. Any species that threatens our world will face the same response the Korthax received. We will defend ourselves with everything we have. Ambassador Nelvik stood, her musical voice thoughtful. You offer friendship with one hand while holding a weapon in the other. Yes, Carter replied simply, because that is what responsible civilizations should do. We hope for peace but prepare for war. We want cooperation but maintain the ability to defend ourselves. We are not foolish enough to believe the galaxy is safe just because we want it to be. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Representatives argued with each other in dozens of languages. Some wanted to accept humanity immediately. Others wanted to reject them completely. Many were unsure what to do. Admiral Carter and her officers waited patiently. They knew their future and the future of Earth depended on this decision. But they also knew they had made their position clear. Humanity would join the galaxy as equals, not as subjects or conquerors. Hours passed. The debate continued. Some representatives contacted their home governments for instructions. Others consulted with advisors. The humans stood calmly, showing no sign of impatience or worry. Finally, High Chancellor Vormesh called for order. His crystal body glowed brightly as he prepared to announce the Council's decision. This Council has debated carefully. We have considered all arguments. We have reached a decision. He paused, and every being in the chamber leaned forward. This Council recognizes that humanity has the right to defend itself. We acknowledge Earth's sovereignty over its solar system. We extend an invitation for humanity to join the Galactic Council as provisional members. You will have a 10-year probationary period. After that, we will review your membership. Admiral Carter allowed herself a small smile. It was not everything she had hoped for, but it was a beginning. Thank you, High Chancellor. Humanity accepts these terms, but Vormesh was not finished. His crystal body shifted colors to show concern. Admiral Carter, you must understand something. You have made a powerful statement today. You have shown the galaxy that humanity is strong. This will deter some species, but it will also challenge others. There will be civilizations that see your strength as a threat. They may try to destroy you before you become more powerful. There will be those who want to test your defenses to find weaknesses. Carter nodded slowly. We understand, High Chancellor. We have spent our entire history dealing with those who test us. We are ready. Scholar Thillick floated forward. I have a question, if I may. When you built all these defenses, did you never consider that first contact might be peaceful? Did you never hope that aliens would be friendly? Colonel Ryan Bishop, the third human officer, answered this time. We hoped every single day that first contact would be peaceful. We built observatories to listen for friendly signals. We created art and music to share with other species. We dreamed about meeting aliens who would teach us and learn from us. But hope is not a strategy. Hope does not save lives when an invasion fleet arrives. So yes, we hoped for peace, but we prepared for war. Both can be true at the same time. Ambassador Kretal spoke again. The Korthax Dominion will not accept this defeat easily. They will plan revenge. What will you do? What we always do, Admiral Carter replied. We will stay alert. We will keep building defenses. We will train our soldiers. We will develop new technologies. And if they come again, we will be ready. But we will also send them diplomatic messages. We will offer them trade agreements. We will try to build a peaceful relationship. We prefer peace, Ambassador. We just refuse to be victims. Ambassador Nelvix's musical voice rang through the chamber. You speak of peace, but you seem to expect war. Is this not a contradiction? Captain Morrison answered. On Earth, we have learned something over thousands of years. Peace is not the absence of war. Peace is what you have when everyone knows that war would be too costly. The galaxy will be peaceful for us when other species know that attacking Earth is a terrible idea. Our weapons do not threaten peace. They guarantee it. Many representatives nodded at this, understanding the logic even if they found it harsh. High Chancellor Vormesh spoke again. We will send ambassadors to Earth. You will send ambassadors here. We will establish trade routes and cultural exchanges. We will learn from each other. But I will say this clearly. The galaxy is watching humanity now. Your actions in the next 10 years will determine your place in the galactic community. Choose wisely. We will, Admiral Carter promised. Humanity has spent 200,000 years learning how to survive. We have learned when to fight and when to negotiate. We have learned when to be cautious and when to be bold. We will not disappoint you, High Chancellor. The transmission ended. The holographic images of the humans faded away. The council chamber immediately filled with noise as representatives discussed what had just happened. Scholar Thillick floated next to High Chancellor Vormesh. That was remarkable. They are unlike any species I have studied. They think like warriors but speak like diplomats. They prepare for the worst but hope for the best. They are paranoid but not aggressive. I am very curious to see what happens next. Vormesh's crystal body pulsed thoughtfully. I am curious as well. But I am also concerned. The humans defeated the Korthax easily. What happens when other species realize how powerful they are? What happens when ambitious empires see Earth as a prize worth fighting for? What happens when fearful civilizations decide humans must be destroyed before they become too strong? Then we will see if the humans can balance strength with wisdom, Thilik replied. They have proven they can fight. Now they must prove they can coexist. Ambassador Kratal approached them. The Vox Collective wishes to establish diplomatic relations with Earth immediately. After what the humans did to the Korthax, we see them as potential allies. Many species will think the same way, Vormesh observed. But others will see them as threats. The next few years will be very interesting. On Earth, Admiral Carter and her officers returned to the command center. The transmission had been watched by billions of people across the planet. Now Earth had a place in the galaxy, but that place came with new dangers. What happens now? Captain Morrison asked. Now we prepare, Carter replied. We send ambassadors. We establish trade. We share our culture. But we also keep building ships and training soldiers. We hope for the best but prepare for the worst, Colonel Bishop finished. Just like always. Just like always, Carter agreed. Humanity had taken its first step into a much larger and more dangerous universe. They had proven they could defend themselves. Now they would have to prove they could survive in a galaxy full of thousands of civilizations, some friendly, some hostile, and most simply unknown. The real test was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Earth. That was what people were calling it now. The day humanity fought off an alien invasion and announced itself to the galaxy. Admiral Linda Carter stood in the observation deck of humanity's first diplomatic station. The facility orbited Earth at a safe distance. It was built to host alien visitors without bringing unknown dangers too close to the homeworld. Even in peace, humans prepared for problems. Through the large window, she could see construction crews working on new defense platforms. After the battle, Earth's governments had tripled military spending. More weapons, more ships, more of everything. The victory had not made humanity feel safer. It had made them more aware of the dangers lurking in the galaxy. I still cannot believe we are building more, a voice said behind her. Captain Jake Morrison walked up to join her at the window. He had been promoted after the battle and now commanded one of Earth's new heavy cruisers. Were we not supposed to be making friends out here? We are making friends, Carter replied with a grim smile. But the High Chancellor was right. Victory brings attention, and not all of it is friendly. In the past 6 months, Earth had received dozens of messages from alien civilizations. Some were genuine offers of friendship from species impressed by how humans had defended themselves. Others were barely disguised threats from empires that saw humanity as a potential rival. Several pirate groups had tried to raid human mining operations, only to discover that even civilian ships now carried enough weapons to fight back. The door to the observation deck opened. Colonel Ryan Bishop entered, and he was not alone. Behind him walked a figure that made Carter's hand move instinctively toward where her weapon would normally be. It was High Commander Zixtar of the Korthax Dominion. But he was not wearing his military uniform anymore. Instead, he wore simple diplomatic robes. Admiral Carter, Zixtar said through his translator collar. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, High Commander. Carter replied coolly. You requested this meeting. What do you want? The alien moved to the window, his scales reflecting the light of the distant sun. I have been stripped of my command. My military career is over. The Dominion considers me a failure, but before I return home to face my dishonor, I wanted to speak with you. I need to understand something. Understand what? Morrison asked, his voice hard with suspicion. How you knew, Zixtar said. We sent scouts to observe your world for months. Our intelligence said you were primitive, divided, vulnerable. Yet you had weapons that suggested you had been preparing for us for years. How did you know we were coming? Carter looked at Bishop and Morrison. Then she sighed. We did not know, she admitted. We did not know the Korthax specifically were coming. We did not know if anyone was coming, but we knew someone would come eventually. It was only a matter of time. Zixtar turned to stare at her. You built all of that? Prepared all of that without knowing if an enemy existed? That is what humans do, Bishop said. We prepare for threats before they appear. It is how we survived on Earth. The tribes that prepared for winter lived. The ones that did not died. The cities that built walls survived invasions. The ones without walls were conquered. We learned a long time ago that hoping for safety is not enough. You must be ready to fight for it. Morrison stepped forward. When we first detected signals from space that proved intelligent life existed, do you know what our governments did? Before we even knew if you were friendly or hostile, we started building defenses. We fortified the moon. We hid weapons in our space stations. We trained soldiers for combat in space. Because on Earth, the safest assumption has always been that strangers might be dangerous. But that is madness, Zixtar protested. The resources you spent, the effort, all on a threat that might never have existed. Except the threat did exist, Carter said quietly. You came. You came with warships and ultimatums. You were ready to destroy our civilization. And because we prepared, we survived. If we had been naive, if we had assumed the galaxy was peaceful, your fleet would have conquered Earth in days. Millions would have died. Tell me, High Commander, was our caution madness? Or was it wisdom? Zixtar was silent for a long moment. He stared out at the construction crews working on the new weapons platforms. I came to apologize, he finally said, for the attack, for threatening your world. The Dominion assumed you were weak because you were unknown. We made a terrible mistake. Many of my soldiers died because of my arrogance. For that I am truly sorry. Carter studied the alien carefully. She could hear genuine regret in his voice. He had sent his people to what he thought would be an easy conquest, and many had died. I accept your apology, she said, and I offer one in return. We killed many of your people. Some were just following orders. Some believed they were serving their civilization honorably. They died because we refused to surrender. For their deaths, I am sorry as well. Zixtar's scales shifted to a softer color. You would apologize? After we attacked you? We defended ourselves, Carter replied. That does not mean we are happy about the killing. Every death in that battle weighs on us. But we will not apologize for surviving. There is a difference, the alien nodded slowly. The Dominion is changing its policies. After your victory, several species we had conquered have started rebellions. They saw that the mighty Korthax could be defeated. They believe they can win their freedom too. Good, Morrison said bluntly. Maybe your people will learn that conquest is not sustainable. Perhaps, Zixtar agreed. Or perhaps we will simply become more careful, more thorough in our scouting, more overwhelming in our attacks. You won a battle, humans, but you also made an enemy that will not forget. Carter met his gaze steadily. We know, and we will be ready. Zixtar looked at her for a moment, then nodded respectfully. I believe you will be. Farewell, Admiral Carter. I hope our next meeting will be under better circumstances. After security escorted Zixtar back to his transport, the 3 human officers remained in the observation deck. The stars seemed brighter somehow, but also more dangerous now that they knew what was out there. Do you think we did the right thing? Morrison asked quietly. Meeting with him? Accepting his apology? Yes, Carter replied. If we want to join the galactic community, we must show we are capable of more than fighting. We must show we can forgive, negotiate, and build relationships even with former enemies. But we also keep building weapons, Bishop observed. Yes, Carter agreed. Because forgiveness does not mean being foolish. We can offer friendship while keeping ourselves protected. That is the balance humanity must find. We are not alone in the universe anymore, but we cannot assume everyone is friendly. Morrison looked out at the construction crews. How long before someone else tests us? Could be tomorrow. Could be decades. But it will happen, Carter said. Word of what we did to the Korthax is spreading. Some species will be deterred. Others will be curious. A few will see it as a challenge. We just have to be ready for all of them. Bishop smiled slightly. Then I suppose we keep doing what we do best, hoping for peace while preparing for war. Exactly, Carter agreed. And maybe someday the galaxy will learn that humanity makes a better friend than an enemy. Far below them, Earth continued its ancient rotation. The blue-green world looked peaceful from space. But now scattered across the solar system, weapons waited, ships patrolled, soldiers trained, scientists developed new technologies. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy with a military victory. They had shown their strength. Now they needed to prove they had wisdom to match that strength. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries. Some would become friends. Some would become enemies. Most would simply be unknown. And humanity, having spent 200,000 years learning to survive on a dangerous planet, was ready to face whatever came next. The age of isolation was over. The age of galactic humanity had begun. 1 year after the Battle of Earth, humanity had changed dramatically. The planet that once looked up at the stars with wonder now looked at them, with a mixture of hope and caution. Ambassador Sarah Mitchell stood in the Galactic Council chamber for the first time as an official representative of Earth. She had spent 6 months learning alien customs, studying galactic politics, and preparing for this moment. Today was humanity's first official council session as provisional members. The chamber was even more impressive in person than in the transmissions. Beings of every imaginable shape and size filled the space. Some breathed air like humans. Others floated in spheres of water or gas. A few existed as energy patterns contained in special fields. All of them were watching her. High Chancellor Vormesh addressed the assembly. Today we welcome humanity officially into the Galactic Council. Ambassador Mitchell, you have the floor. Sarah stepped forward, her heart racing but her voice steady. Thank you, High Chancellor. I stand before you today not as a warrior but as a diplomat. Humanity comes to this council with open hands and open minds. We want to learn from you. We want to share what we know. We want to be partners in building a peaceful and prosperous galaxy. She paused, looking around the chamber. I know many of you have concerns. You have seen our military power. You wonder if we are too aggressive, too dangerous. I want to address those concerns directly. Yes, humanity is prepared to defend itself. Yes, we have powerful weapons, but we also have art, music, literature, and science. We have compassion, curiosity, and a desire for peace. We are more than just our weapons. Ambassador Kratal of the Vox Collective stood. You say you want peace, but your actions suggest otherwise. You have built more weapons since joining the council. You have expanded your military. How can we trust your words when your actions tell a different story? Sarah had expected this question. It is a fair concern, Ambassador. Let me explain our thinking. Humanity has learned that peace must be built on strength. A civilization that cannot defend itself is at the mercy of those who would exploit it. We build weapons not because we want war, but because we refuse to be victims. Our strength allows us to negotiate as equals, not as subjects. She gestured to the assembled representatives. In the past year, we have signed trade agreements with 17 civilizations. We have shared our medical research with 12 species. We have sent teachers to 5 worlds and welcomed students from 8 others. We have contributed to 3 humanitarian missions. These are the actions of a species seeking cooperation. Our military strength simply ensures that we can engage in these peaceful activities without fear. Scholar Tillich floated forward. I have been studying humanity since your first appearance before this council. What fascinates me is your ability to hold seemingly contradictory ideas simultaneously. You prepare for war while working for peace. You trust but verify. You cooperate but remain independent. This is unusual among galactic species, Sarah smiled. Perhaps it comes from growing up on a dangerous world. On Earth, we learned that survival requires balance. Too much trust makes you vulnerable. Too much suspicion makes you isolated. We try to find the middle path. Ambassador Nelvik spoke, her musical voice thoughtful. You have been attacked twice in the past year by pirate groups. Both times you responded with overwhelming force. Some species believe you were too aggressive. Sarah's expression hardened slightly. Those pirates attacked our civilian miners. They killed 12 people. We responded appropriately. We did not pursue the pirates to their bases. We did not retaliate against their homeworlds. We simply defended ourselves and made it clear that attacking humans carries consequences. Is that not reasonable? It is, Vormesh agreed, but it does contribute to your reputation as a martial species. We cannot control how others perceive us, Sarah replied. We can only control our actions. And our actions show a consistent pattern. We pursue peaceful relations with all species. We respond to friendship with friendship. We respond to trade offers with fair negotiations, but we also respond to attacks with force. Is this not how any civilization should behave? Many representatives nodded in agreement. Others still looked uncertain. A new voice spoke up. It came from Ambassador Drex of the Unified Clans, a species known for their military prowess. I wish to speak in favor of humanity. My people understand strength. We understand the need for defensive capabilities. What impresses us about humans is not their weapons, but their restraint. They defeated the Korthax but did not occupy Korthax territory. They destroyed pirate ships but did not hunt down pirate bases. They have power but choose when to use it. This is wisdom. Thank you, Ambassador Drex, Sarah said. That is exactly what we try to embody. Power with responsibility, strength with wisdom. The session continued for hours. Sarah answered questions about human culture, technology, politics, and intentions. She explained Earth's history, admitted humanity's flaws, and outlined their hopes for the future. Finally, High Chancellor Vormesh brought the session to a close. This has been productive. Humanity, you have shown yourselves to be thoughtful and diplomatic. Your probationary period will continue, but I believe you are on a good path. After the session ended, Sarah found herself surrounded by ambassadors wanting to speak with her privately. Some offered trade deals, others proposed cultural exchanges. A few simply wanted to express their support for humanity's membership. But one conversation stood out. A small insect-like being approached her nervously. "Ambassador Mitchell, I am Delegate Chur of the Hive Worlds. We are a small civilization, only recently joined the Council. I wanted to thank you." "Thank me?" Sarah asked, confused. "For what?" "For showing that a species does not need to be ancient or large to demand respect. The Korthax threatened my world several times. We were too weak to resist. But after seeing what you did to them, they have not bothered us since. Your strength protects not just yourselves, but others who cannot protect themselves." Sarah felt a warmth in her chest. She had not considered that angle. "I am glad we could help, even indirectly. That is what we hope to do in the Council. Protect the weak, support the peaceful, and deter the aggressive." Scholar Thillick approached after Delegate Cheer left. "I have prepared a report on humanity for the Council archives. Would you review it before I submit it? I want to ensure I have represented your species accurately." "Of course," Sarah agreed. "What are your conclusions?" The scholar's gaseous form swirled thoughtfully. "That humanity is a paradox. You are aggressive but not expansionist. You are paranoid but not isolationist. You are warriors but not conquerors. You are perhaps the most interesting species I have studied in 300 years. Sarah laughed. "I suppose that is a compliment." "It is," Thillick assured her. "The galaxy needs interesting species. Too many civilizations become complacent. They stop growing, stop challenging themselves. Humanity will never have that problem. You are too restless, too curious, too ambitious." Back on Earth, Admiral Carter received Sarah's report on the Council session. She read it carefully, then smiled with satisfaction. Captain Morrison and Colonel Bishop sat across from her. "It went well," Carter said. Sarah handled herself perfectly. "The Council is starting to see us as more than just military threats." "That is good," Bishop replied, "but we still need to stay alert. Not everyone will be convinced by diplomacy." "Agreed," Carter said, "which is why the new fleet will be ready in 3 months, and why we are continuing to upgrade the lunar arrays. Diplomacy works best when backed by strength." Morrison looked thoughtful. "Do you think we will ever reach a point where we can relax, where we do not need to constantly prepare for the next threat?" Carter considered the question carefully. "Maybe someday. Maybe after decades of peace, after generations of cooperation. Maybe when humanity has proven itself so thoroughly that no one dares threaten us. But that day is far in the future. For now, we do what we have always done. We hope for the best and prepare for the worst." The 3 officers sat in comfortable silence, looking at displays showing human ships patrolling the solar system, construction crews building new defenses, and diplomatic missions to dozens of alien worlds. Humanity had survived its violent introduction to the galaxy. They had proven they could fight when necessary and negotiate when possible. They had made friends and deterred enemies. They had earned a place among the stars. The future was uncertain, as futures always are. There would be challenges, conflicts, and crises. There would be new friends and new enemies. There would be triumphs and setbacks. But humanity was ready. They had spent 200,000 years surviving on a harsh planet. They had fought through ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters. They had learned to adapt, to persevere, to overcome. Now they would apply those lessons on a galactic scale. The age of humanity among the stars had truly begun.